I'm back down in the blind. It's just after lunch, and there's nothing going on. Um, but this morning turned out to be um, exciting. So I sat down here for about an hour and a half in this blind, just sitting pretty still. And that blue mama hen, I have another video of just watching her. She brought her babies down in here, and they're hunting bugs and just doing little chicken stuff. So it's like, all right, well, if that coyote's around, he's going to be coming out. So I was watching. And it's hard to see in the camera, but back in there where all that shadow area is, I can see it much better, than the camera can. And there's logs back there. And so you memorize what it looks like. It's like a bunch of little squares and rectangles and stuff. And each one has its own color because of what's behind it. And so about an hour sitting here, and one of the green squares turned red, kind of brownish red. And it's like, okay, all right, might just be Mr. Coyote. And just like a coyote, he just stood there like 15 minutes. And they'll move their head and their ears, and they might move a little bit, but they're pretty froze because they don't want to give their position away to, whatever they're stalking. And so they'll just stand there and watch. Having this blind sitting out in the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't do this to wild coyotes. They would never come in. But this coyote, he was raised around people. So that's why I can get away with having this blind right here. But anyway, so then I looked and he was gone, just gone. And I thought, okay, well, he's going to reappear somewhere. So I'm slowly scanning, and that mama, she's just doing her own thing. Every now and again, she'd give a little warning call, but I don't think she saw him. And so there's a couple trails back in there. I'm looking back in there. And then back in here, behind that stump, under all those trees, all of that was brushed in. There's a trail back there. And I could kind of see back in there, but, not really. So, I was watching back in there because that mama, she came just to the left of that stump. There's a bare spot right there. And she was digging in that, and all the babies were right there with her. And shoot, even a couple deer. So this was like an hour I was scanning for that bugger after he left over there. And a couple deer walked through here. They didn't act like anything. So I thought, well, you know what? Everybody acts like he's not here. So maybe he just went and bedded down for the day. So I got up, went to the house, thought I'd take a quick break, get myself a cup of coffee. My daughter had just started the coffee in the percolator on the gas stove. And I got to the house. I mean, we're talking like a minute's walk, if that. And that bugger came out of there and tried to get that mama hen. Thankfully, she gave out the warning call and her babies ducked for cover. And she flew straight up in the air. And he went for her and only got just a couple feathers. Oh, thankfully, because she's a good mama. And I hollered, and my daughter turned Riker loose. Riker came charging down here and chased him off. So I got all that back in there cleaned out. And just as a side note, the poor mama, she gathered up her babies. Actually, she and the babies stayed hid. We came down here and we were all over the place. I saw one baby and that was it. And so anyway, it took them probably, geez, I don't know, half an hour before she brought them up to the house. They just stayed hid wherever they were. So anyway, I got all that cleaned out, so now I can see back in there. And so nothing's moving. There's no chickens, out in here. I'm pretty much just sitting in this sauna. It is so hot in the sunshine. Oh my gosh. I don't know how long I'll last. I'll probably go back up and, yeah, wait till this afternoon when the chickens start coming back down here again. But that bugger, I couldn't believe that. When he jumped for that hen, I was just, are you kidding me? All right, game on. So here we go.